Hello, Captains. This is Kent again, and welcome to the Flight Show. So, yeah, I know it's been a while since I've posted, and it's just been insanely busy. But as you know, nevertheless, I'm getting up early on a Sunday morning to get something out. It's been a while, and I've been wanting to do this flight for a while. I'm excited about it. It's a flight in an area that I don't think there's a whole ton of videos by comparison to, say, others, and we're going to be flying in South America. Now, I have two wonderful payware airports for this flight, and so we're going to be going through from Arturo Merino Benitez International in Chile, and we'll be flying all the way to Mariscal Secure International in Ecuador. I hope I said that right. Nevertheless, we're just ready to jump in and get started. So, since we are using FS Crew for part of this flight, we have it right up here. That's good. Get everything in place, but we're also going to be using GSX, and we're going to be using Ultimate Flight Crew. I like to see if we can get them all to work together. It's pretty cool when you can get that little symphony working right. So what we will do first off is get GSX going, because since they're not in sync, after a while you kind of get the idea how that's going to work. The first thing we'll do is request boarding of our cargo aircraft, and we'll be using Atlas Air. Now there is actually, I think it's Transworld or Air Trans something, that's the actual route that flies the route that we're going to fly. But when they did the Operations 2.0, they didn't include that livery, so I'm going with another freight livery that I like that's actually very nice to look at, which is Atlas. So let's go ahead and request boarding. Did I request boarding? No, I think I kept talking way too long. Here we go. So our loading machines are coming in from the sides, and if you look off in the distance, that should be our captains, but our pilots, but I don't know. But we're just letting everything get into place. This kind of has a little bit of a fisheye view to it, and I really don't care for that. So it just requires that we zoom in and then pan out. I like things kind of proportional. So that's much better. One of my particularly saved views. Okay, so now that I've done all that, the one thing that I do need to do, or I'm not going to have it anymore, is I need to save it. It's off screen, but I just wanted to lock that in. So let's go back. Yeah, our cargo is coming in here, and that bus right there, I believe, will be the pilots. So everything is coming along. So I'm going to break just briefly in the interest of time, and just when they get here, we'll start rocketing and rolling. Well, look who's arrived. Seems that our pilots are now here, and they're ready to get into the cockpit. Alright, so once they get into the cockpit, we will jump in and start our FS Crew, and
check.
And away we go. So we'll start. Now the procedures have started. I'm going to close this. And so the flows will be that we will turn on our battery, standby auto power, hydraulic pumps are off, windshield wipers are off, alternate flaps selectors are off, landing gear is down, electrical power unit not connected but will be. We'll be doing this external power, and only one of them, so we need our extra doors to open. And our nav lights are now on. to let people know that, you know, we're in the cockpit. So, now that we got those initial flows out of the way, we also have to do our demand pumps, make sure they're off. Fuel flex, they're off. 1 and 4 are in off position. We'll make sure they stay off. And our first officer will take care of the rest of that, if I believe correctly. Alternative flaps. Landing gear lever is down. The flap levers agree. They're up. And the external power is established, which we have just done. Okay, so we're good to go. So the pre-flight procedure, which is done by the first officer, will continue. I'm just going to go ahead and get these in nav. And while everything else is going on, because now we can load the aircraft, that's excellent, we'll go ahead and get our information in our computer. So we know that our fuel, that all of that has already been planned.
Set.
So our fuel is going to be 100,270 pounds, and our cargo payload will be a zero fuel weight of 531.7. Put that there. Okay, so now the weight of the aircraft and all that in terms of the cargo is already taken. Oh, wait a minute, I kept hitting, I thought I was hitting return. So that's 531.7. It's always going to be some little thing I do wrong. Okay, all right, so that's taken care of. Great. Now we can get to enter IRS position. And we'll say that it is here. And so we are starting at SCEL. And now our route. So we'll load our company route, which we've already pre-planned, which is SCEL to SEQM 01. Company route. And its flight level, and our flight will be Atlas Airlines 3654. There we go. And so we'll depart on 17 left. And our star is down to 3B, or 3A. Down to 3A. Great. And we can go ahead and do our arrival. Our weather projection says that our weather should not change. So it's ILSZ with the trains of QIT. That's taken care of. Excellent. Our reserves, we want 5,000 pounds, and we'll be cruising at an altitude of 38,000 feet, or flight level 380, and our cost index is calculated to be 40. Next, this is our D-rated takeoff that we've got going on here. Our center of gravity, and we'll be taking off with a flaps 20. And now we have our VCs. So that is all taken care of. And what I can do is move along. Let's just go ahead and engage in our safety checklist, please. Safety checklist. Oh, she's going through a thing. So, my bad. And, alright. So, once it's done with that, we will move things along. But I can go ahead and put in our flight level, which is 38,000 feet. Alright. And we'll just put it at 180 for now. Alright, so we'll move her along. Actually, should be out for the walk around, right? Okay, so she's out for a walk around, she's back. Now she's doing the pre-flight procedure, which is good. Alright, so she's done with that, we'll do our departure brief. So, in the meantime, let's take a look at what's going on outside. It's coming along nicely. Okay, so the fuel slip just came in, and we have now gotten the last of the cargo on the aircraft, so we're going to push this forward just a little bit.
Here's the load sheet for you.
Thanks. Okay, doors are closing. We can go ahead and engage in our departure brief. I think this is good.
Are you ready for the departure brief?
Go ahead.
Okay, it's going to be a standard pushback and start off the gate. Taxi route will be assigned by ATC. It'll be a left seat takeoff, using rated thrust. Planning a flaps 20 takeoff. Anti-ice will be off. As for the safety brief, if I decide to stop the takeoff, I will call stop. You will monitor my actions and call any omissions. I will close the thrust levers, raise the speed brakes, and apply maximum symmetrical reverse thrust consistent with conditions. You will nominate the symmetrical pair if appropriate. I will utilize the RTO function of the auto brakes. If you call auto brakes, I will apply maximum manual braking. You will note the speed and notify ATC. I will bring the aircraft to a complete stop before calling for the appropriate QRH checklist. If I continue the takeoff, I will call go. With the gear selected up and safely established in the climb, you will restate the failure. I will fly the aircraft, engage the autopilot, and call for the appropriate checklist when safely established in the climb. We are under our maximum landing weight, so we are okay to make an immediate return. Okay, all going well. The departure routing will be via the ATC assigned SID, complying with all published speed and altitude restrictions. No noise abatement procedures required. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
No questions.
Departure brief complete.
Okay, so we can take this down.
Happy to turn on the APU.
Okay.
Starting APU.
Flows that'll take place at the moment of the before start procedure. Okay, so here we go. We now have the APU on. And we can take this out. Before start procedure.
Are we cleared to pressurize?
Cockpit to ground. Cockpit to ground. Okay. Gotta go to the radio, I didn't set it. Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead.
Can we pressurize the hydraulics?
Roger, you okay to pressurize the hydraulics?
Yes.
Okay.
So we should see, yes, the hydraulics are now kicked in. She's turning all the fuel pumps. Almost there.
I'm ready for the checklist.
Okay. Before start checklist to the line, please. Before start checklist to the line.
Before start checklist to the line. Oxygen mask.
Set.
Set. Altimeters.
1015. Set.
Cross check. Fuel control switches.
Cut off.
Parking brake.
Set.
Passenger signs.
On and on.
Double check that, please. Briefing.
Stated.
Stated. Before start checklist to line complete. Awaiting start.
Before start checklist below the line.
Below the line. Takeoff data MCP.
Check and set.
Demand pumps.
Augs and auto.
Fuel load cross feeds and pumps.
Set. Checked and set. Checked and set.
Packs.
2 and 3 off.
Trims.
5.4 units 0 and 0. Set and checked.
Doors.
Closed.
Beacon.
Both.
Transponder TCAS.
Code checked TARA traffic.
Before start checklist complete.
Alright, so let's go ahead and bring our friend Ultimate Ground Crew into the fold. And we will say pushback sequence. And it will be computer defined. As you can see, our ring walkers are getting into place, and our marshal are doing his thing as well.
Ground to flight deck.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Ah.
Communication check, please, and confirm the brakes are set.
Communications are okay, and the brakes are set.
Thanks.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, cockpit.
We are ready for pushback and engine start. Tail south.
Roger, tail south, release brakes.
Brakes released.
Okay, commencing pushback.
So they got that little warning from GSX. That's because, again, they don't work with each other, but that's okay. Start sequence is 4 and 3, then 2 and 1.
Check.
You are clear behind, and you can start your engines at your discretion.
Start 4 and 3.
Starting 3.
Start engine 4.
Starting 4.
Pushback complete. Set parking brakes, please.
Parking brake set.
Check.
Start
Roger.
engines 2 and 1. Start engines 2 and 1.
Starting 2 and 1.
Okay, the tow bar is disconnected and the equipment is clear.
You can disconnect and go to hand signals.
Thanks so long. Have a good flight.
Thank you. Okay, engine seems to be spooling up okay. I mean, Ultimate Ground Crew has a little bit to go before it's like looking as
Go ahead,
sharp.
flight deck.
I wasn't talking to you. It has a ways to go before it's on.
Go ahead, cockpit.
Bye-bye. After start actions.
Roger.
It has a ways to go before it's on level with GSX, but it's really nice. I mean, the wing walkers, the animations, the models need a little improvement, but it's good. I like it. I want it to work. I want them to work together. Alright, so we have our,
Go ahead, flight deck.
I'm not talking to you guys. In fact, chill out. We're good. After start checklist.
APU.
Turn off. Off.
Demand pumps.
Auto.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Aft cargo heat.
On.
Packs.
Normal.
Recall.
Check. Checked.
Checked. Ground equipment.
Clear. Cleared.
Cleared. ACMS. QAR on. After start checklist complete.
Okay. Flaps 20. Alright, we're ready to taxi. We'll let those set while we're taxiing. Clear on the left.
Clear right. Before takeoff checklist to the line. Before takeoff checklist to the line. Flaps.
Flaps 20 green.
Double check that please. Flight controls not checked. Stab trim. 6.0 units set. Departure data and clearance.
Clerk, confirm no flags. Confirm no flags.
Confirmed. No flags. Cabin ready. Holding at the line.
Confirm clear to cross-check runway.
Affirm clear to cross.
I just want to hear it say that. Okay, so... runway entry procedure.
Check.
We're going to assume that they just gave us clearance to enter the runway.
I'm ready to go.
Before takeoff checklist below the line.
Below the line. Lights, strobes. On. Weather, radar, terrain. Set. Before takeoff checklist complete.
takeoff.
Check. Power set. 80 knots. Rotate.
V2.
Positive rate.
Gear up.
Gear up.
Flaps 10.
Speed checked. Flaps 10.
Departing scenery for this airport is just stunning. Flaps up.
Flaps up.
Takeoff checklist.
After takeoff checklist. Landing gear. Up. Flaps. Up. Anti-ice. Auto. After takeoff checklist complete. Flaps up.
So we are now at cruising altitude. And,
Set
we've
1,
made
0, 1, 3.
And we've made quite a bit of headway in terms of our progress.
Checked.
Okay, so I'll have to handle with some fuel imbalance and stuff. But, you know, everything's going well. Get some visuals here. Our materials looking beautiful. Nice weather. We're over in the mid-western part of South America. Should be Chile right to the east of us. So, alright, bring it back on there. Some things about to
Set
go on.
1013.
Okay, this is where the approach starts to get interesting. We're going to be engaging in our Quito approach. Although, I am not entirely sure why this plane is turning here. Okay, we're going to disconnect. In fact, I think I know why. And it initiated its own procedure turn. But we're going to still descend. We're going to still descend. And continue our descent. And there is the original Quito approach that was made so famous. But this is the new airport that we're going into. We're going to tell our aircraft to turn.
Check.
After we pass, which I was calling QTI, but it's really QIT. So, my mistake earlier. Our descent. Let's come down here so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to go over this waypoint before we turn back around to this waypoint. Okay, we're almost at the top of the descent. So okay. Now, why the aircraft thought it fit not to do that, I'm going to have to find out. But for now, this is what we're going to do. Alright, just in case it's going to checklist.
Descent approach checklist to transition. Recall.
Check.
Checked. Safety altitude.
Check.
Checked. Minima.
Set.
Set. VREF.
Set.
Set. Auto brakes. Auto brake off. Passenger signs. On and auto. Map integrity.
Checked.
Checked. Holding at transition.
Select speed intervene. Set speed 180.
Speed 180. Set. Transition.
Altimeters transition set QNH.
1013. Set cross-check passing. 17,300. Descending. 10,500. Checked.
Flaps 1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
Flaps 5.
Speed checked. Flaps 5.
Flaps 10.
Speed checked. Flaps 10.
Set speed 170.
Speed 170. Set. Checked. Check. Glide slope alive.
All right. All right, we're about to turn on to final. Set speed 160.
Speed 160. Set.
Gear down.
Gear down.
Flaps 20.
Speed checked. Flaps 20.
Set speed 150.
Speed 150. Set.
Okay, things are looking lovely. This is like my 4th attempt at this airport, and this is probably the best setup that I've had, even with that little glitch with the QIT waypoint. But we should have a really nice touchdown for this one. I didn't ask for that. binded button that I'm not aware of. Or should I say a bound button that I'm not aware of.
Checked.
Arm localizer.
live.
Arm localizer. Arm the localizer.
Radio altimeter alive.
Arm approach. Flaps 30.
Speed checked. Flaps 30 green. Flaps 30.
Set speed 139.
Speed 139. Set. Check.
Landing checklist.
Landing checklist. Speed brakes.
Armed.
Landing gear.
Down.
Missed approach altitude set. Flaps 2500.
Flaps 30.
Landing checklist complete.
And we are cutting it close on fuel, but looks like we will have pulled this off.
Runway.
My aircraft. I have the instruments below on my screen, so I can concentrate on that. You can get a good view of the runway as I approach. Have a little bit of a crosswind, so I'm giving it some, crab it a little bit.
Set
So that we get back on the glide slope.
1026.
1,000.
Alright, bring it back. On the glide slope.
Check. $1,000 feet.
Absolutely beautiful. A little low, bringing the nose up. There we go, back on the glide slope. Excellent. Alright. Cutting the auto throttle.
Checked.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Speed brakes up. Reversers normal.
Beautiful.
$100 knots. 80 knots.
Manual braking.
60 knots.
Manual braking.
50 knots. Ground speed.
Focus on the window. You can live with that. After landing actions.
Want the APU on?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, all we have to do is put this in at the gate. We'll turn off the terrain.
Flaps 10 green.
Flaps up. Let's get our GSX going. Let's see what we want. We want 81. No, we'll do 82. 81's fine. Pardon that. Okay. Turn here. Bit of a challenging approach, as you can see, but well worth it with this beautiful airport. This was made by Flightbeam. Change it to 81. I forget. I mean to 82. Well, we're putting it at 82. We didn't do that, so we're just going to say, turn on the APU. Turn on the APU.
Starting APU.
That was my bad. I was just so happy to be here. And I did tell it the wrong spot, so we're going to reassign it. As soon as we get the APU going, because they're not going to let me change it until then. Shutdown procedure.
Check. Clear to cut.
There we go. Alright, everybody is coming into place. Doors should be opening. Yep. Alright, everybody, we have finally made it to Maerica SEQM International in Ecuador. I hope you enjoyed this flight. I love this airport. I wish I miss Quito approach, but this is still a challenging enough approach to land in Ecuador. So I hope you enjoyed it. I want to do some more flights here in South America. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for supporting the channel. I look forward to seeing you in the virtual skies. Shutdown checklist.
Shutdown checklist. Parking brake.
Set.
Transponder.
Off. And all that good stuff. Established. No, I'm sorry. And 1000 standby and standby. A1000 and standby.
External APU power.
Off. I'm sorry. On. Jiminy crickets. Established. Established.
Demand pumps.
Off. Off.
Fuel control switches.
Cut off. Cut off.
Passenger signs.
Off.
Fuel pumps.
Off.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Beacon.
Off.
Shutdown checklist complete.
Secure procedure.
Okay.
See you all, everybody.